Hello and welcome, vegan savages, to another episode of the Vegains Podcast. Today I give you my LA review. No, I said it wrong. LA review, not LA. My Los Angeles review, like I did when I came back from Bali, my Bali review, where I've been recently 4 months and now I've been 3.5 weeks, so also almost a month in Bali. And first of all, as almost always, I fill you into my neighborhood, and this time I'm not in my hostel because today the meeting room is booked, so I cannot go in there, and there's just not really a quiet place that stays quiet, and outside in the garden there are just busy streets around and it's super noisy. So I just went outside in Venice and looked for an area where I can just sit quietly and record a podcast. And let me tell you, it's not that easy to find because there's just everywhere something going on, homeless people, construction. So, but I found something, and we might need to pause this podcast at some point. Well, not for you, because then I will just move and continue to record somewhere else. But if you're watching on YouTube, you see me sitting in a perfect squat position and on a concrete sidewalk, and this is like a parking spot, and it's quite protected from the wind, and I hang out here for a couple of minutes, and there's no construction or something, but planes are flying, cars are driving, so that is just real shit, y'all. And I just make it work because I'm so passionate about producing podcasts. And one of my most important mantras, and I want you to do the same, is that circumstances, they do not matter, only your state of being matters. So what state of being do you prefer? And my state of being is that I'm excited about recording podcasts, and I don't let my circumstances determine like, oh, I just cannot do it because I don't have my own room and space. No, I just make it work. I'm out here in the streets. People walk by. They think like, what's wrong with him? He's starting from the bottom. He cannot even afford a home. He's a homeless podcast host. Heck yeah, that's me. I make things work. I make my own luck because I'm a vegan savage. So let's dive into it. Los Angeles review. I made a list on my phone. I do it like the Bali review. I start off with the pros and cons. We start with the pros. The big one, it's a no-brainer, it's the weather. The weather is good year-round. Well, Cali boys and my Cali friends who live here, they actually say, oh, the winter is quite chilly. But yeah, that's not like a winter in Europe or where it gets really cold. The weather is just mostly sunny and nice year-round. It stays almost always over 10 degrees and is mostly around 20 to 30. And so the weather is just a big one. And the 3.5 weeks I've been here, every single day it was sunny. Literally every single day. Even though the weather forecast for the last days and today is supposed to be cloudy, guess what? The sun is out most of the day. It rained precisely one time. I think a couple times during the night, but that doesn't bother me, and that's great for agriculture. But one day it rained. I vlogged it when I met with the lovely vegan savage, and we went to the farmers market in Santa Monica. But just for like 2 hours, and then it stopped and the sun popped out. So the weather seems fake. And that's why the movies are made here, because the weather is just great year-round and mostly sunny. And that is a big plus, because the sun does so much with us. It gives us vitamin D, an essential vitamin, which we only produce if our skin is exposed to the sun. But not only that, it's important for our bones, for our mood, for our happiness, for so many things get triggered in our body when the sun is out and our skin is exposed to the sun. So that's a big one, the weather. The next one is diverse nature. You have here almost everything nature offers. You have the beach, where I am, in Venice, Santa Monica. You have a beautiful beach. If you've seen my vlogs and my Instagram stories, the sunset and the sunrise, they are incredible. Yesterday, I walked a long time on the beach until the sun went down, the sunset, and it was so beautiful in Santa Monica, the pier, and just everything turned yellow, and then all of a sudden, boom, color exploded into a deep orange and purple. So you have the beach, you have that, just a great beach, great waves, great for surfing. A bit chilly, but especially in the summer, that's super refreshing, I guess. And it's not that cold. Then you have mountains, you have beaches and mountains. You can actually snowboard greatly in California. So, and that's so close. So you're here in Venice, and you just 2-hour ride, and you're in the mountains, and you can go actually snowboarding. So you have both things. That's incredible. Then just so many hiking trails. Sorry, now there's I think construction going on. Please stop, please. So many hiking spots. Just super diverse. You have palm trees. You have all levels of nature, like really blooming, but also desert. Like, airplane. Shut up, please. I'm so happy when I'm back in Berlin and just have a room, I'm so grateful now for having just my own space where I can just create, and no one tells me what I can do and this and that, and I just have space to create. I'm not here sitting outside in the streets like a homeless person and recording a podcast. But you know what? I embrace that. Because as I told you, circumstances, they do not matter. But what I wanted to say, desert. And you think like, oh, desert, that sounds boring. But the desert also has so much to offer. Cool rock formations where you can climb, cool trails, cool lakes around here. So all I want to say is the nature is super diverse and you find so much here. Maybe not those forests like in Austria, really overgrown. I don't know. I mean, oh yeah, you have your forest, but not the same type, but similar. Same, but different, you know? But just that you have a big diversity of nature. Then, the infrastructure that just Amazon delivers, it's here in a couple of days. Most products get shipped here quite easily, worldwide. You can, in like denser areas like Venice, you can walk, you have sidewalks, you can ride your bicycle, you have a great infrastructure of electric vehicles, shared one, like electric scooters or electric bicycles. Uber picks you up in no time. They're literally everywhere, just a couple of minutes away, the next one. You have streets, so you can drive easily everywhere. Yep, traffic sucks. That's a fact, but we get to that on the con. But the infrastructure in general is really great. Then stores. Fully equipped, so many products, total abundance. Of course, often way too much, which is a reason why the United States is, I think, the leading country of food waste. Because if you have so many products, so many more don't get bite in time, and then they go bad, and then they're wasted. But having the variety, it's just great. So you can really have so many products, and so many products, just you want to have hummus, but there's just not an oil-free hummus, so you have to make it if you want it yourself. But here you don't have to, because there is an oil-free hummus, there is a sugar-free granola, there is a whole grain pizza dough, there is a whole grain wraps. There is just so much variety, and that is just great having that. All the Lara bars, all the different sorts of bars, and that's great. Then events here, Los Angeles, so many things are happening, like in Berlin. But Berlin is already big, but Berlin is a much smaller scale than Los Angeles. The premieres, Hollywood, that is all happening here. It's shot here, it's released here. Then you can go to Hollywood Boulevard and see all the stars. All kinds of things, new things, companies having their events here. So here's really what a lot of big things are occurring. Then the opportunities, stars, the most big celebrities, that's a fact, they live in Los Angeles or in California. And if you want to collab with them, if you want to go on their podcast, if you want to be on Impulsive or the Joe Rogan Experience, you gotta come to Kali boy or girl or daughter or son or just a vegan savage, just my friend. It's so much is here of people who physically live here, really influential people, celebrities, and if you want to do something with them or if they do any sorts of events, it's mostly happening where they live, here in Los Angeles, in California. So they're, especially if you become more and more successful in whatever you do, I think you're just forced to have trips every now and then to Los Angeles, or if you want to collab long term with someone, that's just the place where you need to be. The next one is this vibe of which I'm in between liking it and not liking it, of so many people come here because they want to become famous, and most people fail, and most people probably, or many people pretend to be like, oh, I'm so great now, and there's just a lot of fake people around here, and I'm not judging them at all, it's just a fact. And by fake I mean that they have implants, they have surgery done, and they have just their lips, what is it called, when you put some liquid or something in your lips and they look super buff. You know what I mean. And implants in their breast implants, and just their my English, where are the words? Come on, brain, function. Their eyelashes are fake. Is it eyelashes? Yeah. And their hair extension, this, that, just clammy. Oh, sorry. Right now my English sucks. Alright, I'm back. You know what I mean. Just this vibe of which I like on the one side, because you just meet naturally many celebrities in the street, in the gym, and like the vegan savages I met here, they told me, hey, I met Liam Hemsworth, he went to the cafe all the time I worked at, and I met him and her and I think that's super cool when you meet those people just in real life, but then also like people who pretend to be, and just this fake, I don't know, it's just this vibe of like this LA vibe, like when you think, many people when they think about LA, like, oh, Hollywood fame, this and that, and you made it, and that is something where I'm like in between, because they're cool people around who I wanna collab and do something with them or get inspired from them, but then people, I think, yeah, that's just, I don't know how to describe it any better. Then a big one for me is that people speak English, because first of all, I'm not a native speaker, as you hear, and I'm so damn eager to get my English better and better and better and better, and my accent less and less and less and less. And when I'm in an native English-speaking environment, my English just gets so much better, because I pick up how natives actually speak. Because when I speak English with non-native English speakers, then I kind of pick up their mistakes and don't really learn what people really say and this and that. So natively speaking English and American English is what I talk, because I had to decide like which accent do I pick up, and most of my followers come from the United States, and I think the US accent sounds the most normal. So I think they all sound great, like British, but I think it's harder to sound like a real Brit. Then I think American English is the easiest, and it sounds the most normal. So maybe someday I will change it and talk like a Brit, but I'm not ready yet. I mean, I can't do it, but I sound kind of like a dumb idiot, and mostly if you speak British, you sound super smart, and I'm not there yet. So I say can't, like a real American anyway. So that is just great for me that people speak English, and because I create most of my content in English and I vlog daily, and I just love to implement my environment into my vlogs. And when I walk around and people just say something or approach me or I say something to them, they naturally speak English. And in Germany often it's weird because they respond like, oh, I don't understand. Or they just talk German mostly. And then I have to give them subtitles. And it's just mostly leads to German conversations, which most of my followers don't understand. Which is great because I want to reach the world, not just Germany, Austria and Switzerland. So that is the big one for me, that people speak English. And then another pro is that people are outgoing. That you saw it in my vlogs. I just vlog and people they say like and subscribe. Hey, what's your channel? They just put something in there, make jokes and are just outgoing. And in Germany often it's more stiff. And when I have the cam, you don't know how badly I got treated because of vlogging daily. Just people, put away that fucking camera, you're not allowed to film here, you need to delete your footage, this and that. And here in the US, I hardly had this. If I film, people are like, yeah, they're excited to be in my vlogs. And I love that. And in Germany, it's so much more that people are, oh, you're not allowed to film here, the laws, and you need to delete the footage, blah, blah, blah. And I got this so often, just bad vibes, where people really got mad at me because I'm filming. That really annoys me. If you don't want to be filmed, no worries whatsoever, but just don't be an asshole. Just be polite. That's all I'm asking for. Like, hey, could you not film me or could you blur me? Hey, I'm cool, yeah, no worries. But giving me the finger, oh, put the fucking camera away, trying to push me, stuff. Anyway, it isn't that bad. Actually, no one tried to push me. Just pushed my cam a bit down, but just here they're way more outgoing and I love that a lot, especially for vlogging. Makes it so much more easy and fun. So that's the pros. Now let's go on to the con. And as you heard, there are actually a lot of pros. So LA is a great place, no doubt. There is a lot of pros. Cons, the biggest one is the price. It is fucking expensive here, honey. You cannot imagine. I think it's the most expensive place in the United States. Correct me if that is not a fact, but I'm quite sure. People told me that it's even more expensive than New York City. Maybe Hawaii is also kind of that pricey, but I think here it's the most priciest. It's insane. And especially if you come like I came from a place, Bali, an Asian country or Indonesian country, the comparison is insane. It's not like double the price, it's 10, 20 times the price. And it is like, fuck, what I spent here a month, I can live in Bali longer than a year. So that really puts me off. So I ended up checking out so many restaurants just because of the price. Just because when I got the bill and it was over $40 and I wasn't even full and I had to go home and eat more, I was like, fuck, $40? Brr. So, but it was also great just buying staples and eating at home. But still, so many staples are still so pricey. You buy a bag of berries, not that big, $12. Bam. I buy a bag of berries in Germany, couple euros. Oats, $5. In Germany, a couple cents. So now I'm so appreciative, and it opened my eyes how affordable Germany actually is. Food-wise, rent is getting more and more expensive, but still no comparison to here. And you pay here so much, and you get so little, unless you pay really crazy much when you're a celebrity, then you get a huge mansion, but then you need to pay millions of dollars. But if you just pay like 1,000, 2,000, you only get a studio of one room and like not that great. Whereas in Berlin, I pay a fraction of that and I have a big 2-room apartment, which is just nice and clean, great kitchen, new bathroom. And here, for the same price, you would never get something alone. And for 4 times the price, you would get something shitty. So that's why I ended up staying the entire time, most of the time, in a hostel. Because the hostel was just the only affordable thing. If I would have gotten an Airbnb, not by myself, because if I would get an Airbnb by myself, as I wanted to at the beginning, like that was my dream. Oh, I want to have my own space where I can create, where I have my own kitchen so I can just vlog and create cool recipes and this and that. But then I went to Airbnb and Booking.com. I was like, honey, no, I need to pay at least $300 to $400 per night for something decent. That is just insane. That is how much I would spend in Bali for a month and here for one single night. So I was like, no, I don't want to just waste that much money. Not that I don't have it, just because I think no matter how much money I will earn, I will always want to use it for something good and in a reasonable way, and just like blowing money, burning money, when you can do so much good with that money, I just cannot do. So and then even a Airbnb where it's shared, so you just have a room, it's still $100 per night. Like the sketchy guy I was at, if you've watched the vlog. Shitty apartment, smokes like it smells like weed everywhere. I got so foggy there. Quite honestly, disgusting bed and disgusting room. When I was there, I was like, oh yeah, it looks alright, because I make it work, you know. I just tell myself it's alright, but honestly, it was shit. And that was like $80 per night for that. And then what I got out of it, the dog bit me, the dog wanted to eat me, and then the owner also became aggressive. And I was like, "Bruh." I go back to the hostel. So that's where I ended up staying. The hostel. Shall we talk about the hostel lifestyle? Alright, so that was $60 per night. You're like, oh, what? It's a hostel. How can it be $60 per night? Yep. Welcome to Los Angeles, where you pay $60 per night for a hostel. It's a bit cheaper when you stay multiple weeks there. Then it's only, well, it's still a lot, $40 per night. And that is for the tiny bed. If you want to have the big bed, which is not that big, which is like 140 centimeters, that is then $90 per night. But yeah, the hostel, that is a weird state of being, because you never feel like home, because people come and go, different faces, and just, especially the sleep. Sleep is so important for me. Quality of sleep is how we all function, and there I can easily get enough hours in, so enough quantity, but not the quality, because I constantly wake up, because people constantly make noise, stand up, and their alarm clock, at least 4 to 5 alarm clocks go off at different times in the night, just randomly. And then people even snooze and stuff. And of course I wake up because it's an alarm clock. So that's just, I'm sorry, there's a UPS and now it's gone. So, so far it stayed quite quiet here, so that's great. And people are just snoring like crazy, and just, should I tell you a couple of stories, like what you see in hostels? Because they're cool people around, no doubt. They're just normal people like me. I mean, I'm cool. I'm super cool. I'm the coolest guy. Okay. And they're just weird and sketchy people around. Like the one guy, he was there for a couple of nights. He was right next to me. Wait, I turned the cam on again. So on YouTube, you can keep watching me sit here. I don't know what you get out of that, but you just see me. Hi! Oh yeah, the one guy, he was sleeping next to me. I think he was Russian. And in the middle of the night, he just stood up and he just talked to himself, like really angrily and so loud. I was like, bro, what's good? If you had a bad dream or something, why do you talk to yourself so loud? That is so disrespectful. I just get a bad vibe and don't know what you're up to and this and that. And then the smell, either of people or of the animal products they're cooking, something I don't like. Just like this one guy. Oh, I went into the kitchen and he had a dead dog in a cast. So that was probably his dog, and he just skinned him in a cast to preserve him. And I was so close to the dog, and there were so many hairs everywhere, and that just freaked me out like crazy. I wanted to get a snack, and I did, an orange. And I was like, I didn't even taste the orange because I was so disgusted by that. Because I didn't expect him. Like, oh, what is in this big box? And then boom, I'm right next to a dead dog. I was like, welcome to a hostel where you see all kinds of stuff. Or the other story I told you in my vlog. So I don't really touch on it because I told it in the vlog, but quickly there was this guy in the kitchen and I just wanted to pop something in the microwave and he was like, oh, what do you want? And I was like, I put something in the microwave. Then say something, use your fucking manners. And just like, it's not his kitchen, it's a shared kitchen, and he wasn't even really in the way. So he was just, I don't know, in a bad mood, and he needs to put it on someone, and it just, of course it affects me. We're always a bit shaped by our environment, and I don't let that really get to me. But in that moment, it just for a bit gets to me. Just the vibe, you know? That's why I'm a good vibe person, and I only surrounded myself with good vibe persons. So I just feel great, I feel love, I feel home, I just feel positive energy. And not like just, that's why I don't like hostels. But they're just also nice people. Like I met vegans, and just people talking about veganism. When I overhear these conversations, that is just makes me really happy. And yesterday, the one girl, she asked me, hey, we're making cupcakes tonight, vegan cupcakes, would you like to join? That was super nice. I ended up didn't join because they put wheat in there, so I'm not into that. But that is nice. So you can also make friends and like-minded people. I was really unsocial, or I'm still super unsocial in my hostel, because wait, let me. Alright, just that I can sync the sound. If you don't know what that means, don't worry, I'm back. It's just that sync the sound from my audio here, from the podcast, to my YouTube video file. So when I do like, oh, that was good. Before that didn't really count, but now I have a clear peaking point where I can cut, and then the audio is synchronized. Now you know. Even better, microphones, they're already synchronized to the visual, but I don't have that crazy equipment yet, and it wouldn't be practical for traveling, and that's what I do, and I keep it minimalist. So I lost my track of thoughts. Yeah, I was just rambling about the hostel. So, oh yeah, that I'm not social in the hostel, because if I'm a talker, you know, I love to talk and just give people all the benefits about a plant-based diet and just talk. So then I don't get shit done. And when I'm in the hostel, I edit my podcast, I edit my vlogs, I study, I create infographics, I check my emails, I bring my Vegan Savage merch to the next level, I work on new stuff, I work on projects, I do this and that. And if I talk and socialize, then I don't get all the shit done I want to get done because I'm passionate about. And when I'm out and about, then I can socialize and vlog and do this and that. And just also vlogging in the hostel, that is also a big one I didn't like, because vlogging at home is just such a big part of showing you my real life and where I spend a lot of my time, and then I just want to show you stuff. But from 10 to 10 they are quiet hours, which is great, but I'm so earlier up than 10 and want to show you things I do at home, but I can't because I can't talk, and later I don't want to disturb people, so I'm happy when I just can vlog crazy again at home. So yeah, but I just did it because I told you circumstances, they do not matter, only state of being matters. So I could be like, oh, the circumstances, I cannot really vlog in the hostel, so yeah, I'm not gonna vlog, guys, or I'm not gonna vlog that much, or oh, the vlogs will suck. No, just go out there. Because only my state of being matters. The circumstances doesn't matter. Vegan savages, they make their own luck. They make things work. Alright. Let's talk about... let's put the camera somewhere else, so we have a different angle on YouTube. And it was also in the sun, which is not that great for a camera. So let's put it here. I'm sorry. Wait, give me 1 second. Okay, I'm right back. Or I can still talk, but I just... need to adjust the angle. So we were talking about the cons. Now it is time. Alright, I'm back for the next con. quickly need my phone. I'm sorry, this is just real. Alright, we talked about the price and the hostel. Next con is the crimes. And there's just, because guns are allowed in the United States, there are just so many more crimes happening where people get stabbed and shot, and because there's just so many, the gap between rich and poor is huge. How many homeless people here are, that just makes me really sad, and I want to do something, but I don't have the answer to solve this. And it gets bigger and bigger. That's what I love about Germany. Germany is a social state. That means no one needs to be homeless, because we always offer you a place to sleep, give you shelter and food. If you see a homeless person in Germany, it's because they choose to be homeless, but we are a social state, so you can always go somewhere where you get shelter and food. And I'm quite sure that doesn't exist here in the United States. So I'm really grateful for that we have that in Germany, because I hardly see homeless people, and the ones I see, they choose to be homeless, and I never really felt any danger from them. Whereas here, based on just how sometimes they shout at me, and the stories I hear, also in the news, like recently, the one guy, he got shot, like just a couple days ago. Sorry, there's a helicopter, but he's almost gone. He just got shot. He was a famous guy, just shot a couple days ago. Because here, gangs, they're still real, they're still going on. For example, my friend, the vegan savage, Tim, who lost a finger, his college, he said it's a great college, but it's right in a really bad neighborhood where there are so many homeless people. And he told me, there's still the Blood and the Crip, like Crip, the Blue and the Red gang, and just so many homeless people. And they even get Lyft. Lyft is like Uber, but a different company. They get Lyft, all the college students, for free, because it's such a sketchy neighborhood. And even recently, a guy got stabbed or shot from someone, a homeless person, because he wanted to mug him, so rob all his stuff, and he didn't. I think he tried to not just to keep his stuff, and then he got killed. Like stories like that is really unheard of in Germany. I mean, it happens, but rarely. And here, just the stories I heard, and what else? I just heard some stories I don't even want to go into, but just the amount of stories I heard, and also from the news, are really out of proportion when you compare them to Germany. And just the amount of homeless people I see here, and you're just shaped by your environment, and a lot of them take drugs, and really harmful drugs, and they just get really mad, really crazy, to a point sometimes where I think there's hardly any return. They're just crazy. They're just, like Tim told me, like the lady, she was screaming at him, white trash, white trash, white trash. I'm like, just, yeah, that is something that puts me really off. This huge gap of, you go in some neighborhoods here, and they're just tent after tent after tent, homeless people, thousands. And they only have a couple public toilets, like 4 public toilets for 2,000 homeless people. It looks like a festival, but a really sad one. And most of them don't use the toilet. So they just pee and shit everywhere, and thus it smells so disgusting. And I feel so bad for them, but I don't have the answer. And then there's this huge gap of, you just have blocks full of tents of homeless people, and then you go a bit 20 minutes this way, and then you're in Malibu or Beverly Hills, and then you have huge mansions, and people live in their castles, in these huge villas and mansions, security cam, and you just have this big gap of super rich celebrities and just homeless people. So this gap isn't that big in Germany, in Berlin. So we don't have neighborhoods where such crazy celebs live, and then we don't have these neighborhoods where just tent after tent after tent. So that is just fucked up. And I don't have the solution for that. Because, and I understand, living costs here is just crazy high, and then jobs are often not that stable, so on the next day you just have no job anymore, you lose your house, and boom, you're on the streets. And then you stay a bit on the streets, and then you're in that environment, and then you get shaped by that, and then it gets harder and harder to get out of there, and then you get introduced to drugs, and you feel great for a bit, and you take them, you become an addict, and you get a bit crazy, and you in this position in no time. So I really have a lot of sympathy for them, but as I said, I don't have the solution. I just know that's a con for me, living wise. Then the traffic. Just mostly, it's actually what I heard and what I was imagining was that it's much worse than it actually is. So you can avoid it if you're like self-employed like myself and can just do appointments often whenever, and then just go at certain times somewhere where the traffic isn't as bad. But at certain times, traffic is just clogged and it goes super slowly. But just some streets like in Venice and most Santa Monica. I mean, I only drove once myself, but I drove like 10 times in a Uber. But traffic was never that bad for me, but still, it sucks a lot. I just thought it's so much worse, but it just sucks here. It's just slow often, and so many stop signs, and just it gets what is the word, jammed or clogged, and just go slowly, and don't be frustrated. Just go with the flow. Get a Tesla and go on autopilot. The next con is, well, for me it is a con, but it's for some people, I don't know. I don't even know it's a con for me, but I just talk about it. It's that Los Angeles is so big. And if you want to be somewhere, if you want to meet someone who is also in Los Angeles, you could end up driving for 2 hours because it's just so big and so stretched out. And I just love to do everything with my bicycle. And in a city, I'm used to being able to do everything with a bicycle, that when I want to visit an event, a friend, or some place in the city, it never takes longer than half an hour. And mostly just 10, 15 minutes, or not even. Like in Berlin or in Barcelona and in most European cities, you're on the other side of the city in no time, especially with a bike, like half an hour at max. And here, and I'm a vegan savage, I still take the electric bicycle, but I drove it for sometimes 2 hours. And it was just from Venice to Hollywood. But what if you want to go to something that is behind Hollywood? Then it would be 3 hours with the bicycle, and so you have to take a car, and it's also like an hour or even longer. So it's really stretched out and just huge. And I like it more when I can do all the things and don't waste, because commuting is just for me often a big waste of time. When it's just like 10, 15 minutes, it's not a biggie. It's and it's even, I love it. Then it's great, especially with a bicycle. You get a good exercise in. You can go fast because you're there in no time. You listen to a podcast, and it's great. But when it's like 2 hours and then back and then 4 hours, and that's like, honey, no. And also the last one is, but that's like everywhere. I wrote down people, but you have everywhere. Like when you have a big population, like a city or a country, you have so many people, so you have everything there. You have like-minded people there. You have everything. But here, I just encountered quite a lot of sketchy people, more than I'm used to, more than in Berlin. So I don't know how they react any second, so I'm sometimes a bit frightened of them. Sometimes they're super cool, but sometimes they're just super unpredictable, and I don't know. Like the one guy, he told me, this guy, he was just crazy, and he was pretending like he pulls out a gun. I don't know, but then he didn't, and I don't know. That's just a story, but I hear stories like that a lot. I just stay out of trouble as good as possible, and when I see there's like a crowd of sketchy guys, I just don't walk down this road. So I often have chosen to walk in a different direction, or just run for a little bit, that I don't cross these people, because most likely nothing would happen. But if I make my own luck, so I avoid trouble as good as possible. And what I like about many Germans, maybe it's a stereotype because I don't really like these broad statements, but many, at least of my German friends, they're really punctual, and that is something I value a lot. When you say, hey, you want to do a podcast? Yes, when you have time, tomorrow's great. Which time? 6 p.m. Alright, and then we do it, and don't write anymore. And at 6 p.m. he is there, maybe 2 minutes after 6 p.m. But he is like, yeah, let's do it tomorrow. And then it's tomorrow. I'm writing him, when you want to do it, this and that. And he doesn't reply for the next 3 days. And then it's like, oh, you want to do it now? In 2 hours? I'm like, yeah, okay. Then he's like, oh, could you actually be here at 4 or something, so in 3 hours? And I was already like calling the Uber. I'm like, okay, so then I go to the gym now. Oh, actually, could you be here in 1 hour? I was like, okay, I was already on my way to the gym. Okay, then I come. So that's how it actually was with Spencer, but no hate. I love you, and he's just, I guess, a busy guy. But and that's what I've experienced here a lot. Like, besides my vegan savages, when I met up with my vegan savages, they said, hey, I'm gonna pick you up there at this time, and that they always were there where I expected them to be, and nothing changed in plan. So that was great. But with other people I met, that happened a lot more than I'm used to, and I really don't like that. I love people that are reliable and punctual. That are huge pros for me. So if you have them, I love you so much more. If you're really reliable, if we're meeting and actually then meeting and it's a no-brainer that I can rely on you, that is a really big one for me, and I'm always on time. And I hate it when people just treat me that, oh yeah, we're making this time, and then they're half an hour later or don't even show up at all. For example, I had precisely one Tinder date here. Shall we talk about my Tinder date? Alright, so I was like, okay, one, for the experience, let's do it. And she looked kind of hot, so yeah, I did it. And she was like, we didn't chat it much on Tinder because her profile was like, I'm not into chatting, I want to meet up immediately. I was like, okay, dope. And then we set in venue and where we meet, 6 p.m. somewhere. And then I was almost there, and then she was like, oh, I'm kind of busy and stressed, could we do it somewhere another time? I was like, girl, I'm almost there. I drove for over half an hour already, and I'm almost there, so are you good? And she was like, okay, yeah, I think I can do it. I hop quickly in the shower. I was there. I waited downstairs for 50 fucking minutes until she came down. How long can she shower? How unrespectful can she be with my time? If something like that happens, she already died for me. She's a person I don't want to hang out with, because my most valuable asset, which is time, she disrespects. 50 minutes I waited there. And anyway, I'm a vegan savage. I make my own luck, so I used the time productively and answered like 2,000 of your direct messages on Instagram, which was overdue. So there was I made the best out of it, but you know what I mean. That just sucks. And then we went to the restaurant, and I immediately saw how uneducated she is. And if someone is uneducated but pretends to be super smart, that just makes me mad, because she wanted to be right so badly, but she just talked BS. So I had to, super kindly, correct her with the knowledge I have. She wanted to, for example, she wanted to convince me how healthy red wine is for you, or how unhealthy social media is. So I had to yeah, I just, if I know something is wrong, what she says, I just correct her kindly. But then she got so mad at me that I corrected her, and I stayed so calm, and she was like, oh, like she was like, no, I deleted all social media apps because you cannot have a healthy relationship with social media. No one can. And I was like giving her a couple of examples, and she was like, okay, maybe for you. And oh no, she didn't say that. She was like, no one can. And I was like, giving her a couple of examples, and then she was like, this kind of way she was like that just made me so mad. Like then, oh, you don't need to explain yourself to no one. Keep that in mind. No, I was like, I'm just giving you an example because you said you cannot have a healthy relationship with social media. She's like, I didn't say that. Don't put words in my mouth. And then I just quoted her exactly what she said, and she's like, oh. And I got her so often in this position where she became super uncomfortable because I debunked her bullshit in a kind way, and she wanted to be super smart, but she just talked BS. And I cannot just be like, that is correct, but it's so not. So then she was like, oh, okay, I need to go to the bathroom. Okay, I paid for it. Oh, it was so nice meeting you. I was like, how fake can you be? Just be honest, it sucked. And then we went apart, and I was like, whoa, that gave me so the shivers. And I'm like, oh, but I take the most positive out of it, that I have really funny stories, because I didn't went into the stories much here, but I have really funny stories I will tell my friends of how just nonsense she was spreading, but how the way she talked, trying to be super smart, like, oh yeah, because I love to research on shit, that's so my thing, I'm so researching the shit out of things, but she doesn't know shit, and her research is then just Googling something and just feeding her her information bias, that she Googles something like red wine healthy, first article, here you see, and I'm like, actually the couple of benefits in there are because red wine comes from grapes, and grapes are super rich in antioxidants and super healthy, so of course red wine has a bit of that, but red wine is an alcoholic beverage, and alcohol is the number one carcinogen, a cancer-causing substance. We are as sure that alcohol causes cancer as we know that plutonium causes cancer. And what it does anyway. But yeah, alcohol, red wine is one of the healthiest alcoholic beverages, but it's still alcohol and really destructive for your health, and it's not something that is healthy. Nah. So I just anyway, so I took the best out of it, that I have funny stories, and just that I don't do any Tinder dates again before chatting with the person for a bit. So I don't do that anymore, because it could be like that an epic waste of time. And then I remember on the way back home, I sent Scorpio Mind WhatsApp voice message of how much I appreciate her, that all the things I value in her, that so many girls, so many, but particular this one, are just so not on her level regarding education, being open-minded, this way of talking. Anyway, I talk about this way too much. I just stop here. Alright, so we're rolling for 50 minutes, so let's talk about traveling alone or with friends. What do I prefer? And now I have the great direct comparison, because I just came from Bali, being constantly surrounded by my friends, basically never alone, besides one night when I left the island earlier because I had no Wi-Fi, but was constantly surrounded at least with Scorpio Mind, but mostly Scorpio Mind, Axel, Violetta, and other friends and vegan savages. I had that for months, and now almost a month I was alone here in Los Angeles. So what way do I prefer more of traveling, alone or with like-minded people? And the answer is it's like yes and no, this and that, both. It's both great. It just depends on the circumstance. Like, what makes more sense? Like, some trips make more sense alone, and some trips make more sense with friends. And both is great because I know I'm whole. I love myself. All I need is in me, and everything else is extra. So I can totally enjoy the time just by myself, and it has so many benefits that you can just go do whatever you want. It's not like for your friends, oh, this is too expensive, they don't want to do it, you have to wait. No, you can just go and follow your highest excitement freely. But then it's also super great to share things, to vlog with friends, to just have great conversations and share things, and then take the things and then deal, and then just then it's just you have to wait for them, and you have to find plans what they like. But that's good. That's so neutral. So both can be great. And for me, it's really the mixture is what makes it. Because then I can get the benefits out of both and just deal for a bit with the cons, but then get them fulfilled when I'm alone or with friends again. So soon when I'm with friends again, I have all the social aspects fulfilled to the fullest again. And then when I'm alone again, I can focus so much more on getting even more shit done, on focusing more on myself, getting more input in, more knowledge. When I'm by myself, when I'm alone, when I eat all the time, when I prepare food, I'm constantly studying something or listen to audiobooks or to podcasts, getting so much good input in and learn so much. And when I'm with friends, I'm also getting good input in, but it's more like chit-chatting, this and that, and it's super fun. So it really depends on the circumstance, what makes more sense. Like, if I don't find friends who want to join me for the trip, hey, cool, I go alone. If I find friends, hey, that's great. And that's the cool thing about like-minded people, because you can, for example, this winter we will go to Bali all together, but we're just sharing the same accommodation. We get a crazy big villa and we share that, but then everyone can do whatever they want. So you can do stuff alone as well. So I would tend even more. No, for me it's really this and that. So I love it both. And I highly recommend you do both. If you've only traveled with friends so far, do a trip alone. You will find yourself so much more and the things you actually like, because then you're fully in control. What do 100% just myself, what do I want to do, and not, oh, I go there because my friends do that all the time, and then you're alone and you don't actually want to do that, and then I don't really like doing that, and I was only pressured into that because my friends were doing it. So really, if you haven't done it yet, travel alone. And if you haven't traveled with friends yet, just alone, then travel with friends. And if you have no friends, then make friends. Go out there, and you don't even need to go out there. Find just like-minded people on social media, but then go out there, take social media into the real life and meet them. Be a vegan savage. Make your own luck. When I'm in your city, hit me up and give me some great vlog content. Hey, you want to do this here? I show you around. And I'm like, hey, I'm down. So be a vegan savage, make your own luck, and find like-minded people. And now the last thing I want to talk about is Bali or LA. What do I like more? And it's again, this and that. Both places are great and have their benefits, their pros and their cons. Now I really went into the pros and cons of Los Angeles. And if you want to hear the pros and cons of Bali, go listen to my Bali review podcast I did recently. But I recommend you, if you cannot fully afford it yet, then don't go to Los Angeles, because you will just spend money like crazy, and don't live a luxurious lifestyle. If you don't have that much money yet, or just like good money, then go to places like Bali, where you have so many pros, but you spend so little. But at the same time, for spending that little, you live like a king. You have a big villa, you have a pool, you have great food, you have everything in abundance, and you pay so little. One electric scooter, I ride here for a couple minutes, $3. You rent an electric, unfortunately not most, I think hardly you find electric mopeds in Bali, but you rent an electric, sorry I said it again, you rent a moped in Bali for a day, you pay $3 as well for the entire day, and often not even. And just it's crazy how much cheaper it is. So I recommend, if you don't have that much money yet, or just some good money and you don't want to burn money like crazy, go to Asian countries. And if you just want to pay like normal money, go to European countries where it's also really affordable. And if you just have good money, then come here, because you will spend a lot. Especially if you want to live here a good lifestyle, you will spend a lot. But you have so many pros. And the biggest one is probably the opportunities you have. So if you have great opportunities here, like the Maverick House, that was for me a dream coming true, actually going there. And guess what? I can only do it physically here, because Logan Paul lives here in Los Angeles. Or the private session I had with Bashar, I could only do here because he only offers it at home. So, you pay for what you get, and here you just get great big opportunities. So, that's about that. But the great thing is that I didn't spend more than I earned living here the month, which would be crazy, because right now I'm earning a really good money, really good amount of money. So if I would spend that much, I would really feel bad. But that's why I choose to live in the hostel and eat mostly at home and on a budget, because otherwise that would probably be equal. But you may wonder, but hey, if you earn so much money, why don't you spend it? Because I'm smart. I'm constantly investing in things, because I want to accumulate my wealth, and I want to go on to bigger and better things, and then at some point invest in big things, and then just have the fortune to do that. And if I always spend what I have, then I always live. Is there an English saying? We have a German saying. It's von der Hand in den Mund leben. I think in English it's something. I just give you the same one by one translation: to live from the hand to the mouth. So the money you get, you immediately eat, basically. So the money you get, you immediately spend. And that's not smart, honey. It's about accumulating wealth, and that's what I'm doing. So I just save up money and invest it smartly. Smartly, is that a word? Smart, in a smart way. I believe so, because no one knows the future for sure, but I just see things, where things are going, like electric cars, or if stocks in Tesla, and I believe in cryptocurrency, so I have a lot of money in cryptocurrencies, and this and that. And I think the neighbor here hates me, and I think now he's mowing his lawn, so it's the perfect time to stop this podcast. We were rolling for almost an hour, so that is a good, decent time, and I'm happy. I just made my own luck and was here in this parking spot and just recorded a really good, decent podcast. I said everything I wanted to say, and let me know how you like this Los Angeles review, and I cannot wait to travel the world more and just show you places, and then always, when I stay long enough at a place, to give you a review, a honest, because that's what I do. Honest, real, raw shit. Just the truth, just my authentic experience. So, thank you so much for listening, and I stop here because he's seriously mowing his lawn now. No hate, that's his lawn, and I'm here basically in his car. Anyway, it's super loud, so thanks for listening. Until next time, peace. Eat your chickpeas. Out.